So this is my Himiway. Has been working for the past 1,000 miles really hard, and we're gonna take a look in the hub motor today, see how the gears look like and if it needs to be re-greased. Before we go any further, here are a couple of facts. I'm very rough with my Himiway. So my 1,000 miles is basically your 2,000, if not 3. So check this out. How fun is this? So with that being established, let's dig in. I saw some people posting something about this connector not coming off. If this part doesn't come apart, it means that it got so hot in there, the wires basically melted to each other. By the look of things, I'm gonna need a new connector. Jesus. It's not gonna come apart. So I give up. Even though I have another Himiway motor, I'm gonna check this one out as it is right now, and the day I'll have to repair it or replace it, then I'll deal with this. Hopefully I have enough room to take the wheel off this way. Now for those people that tried to take their wheel off and couldn't, there's a trick. Once you take these two nuts out, so once you take this nut halfway out, see it's loose right now, and this one halfway loose, here's a trick. You take a number 10. You put it into this little axle, and you have to spin the axle. If you don't spin the axle a little bit, it's not going to come out of the channel. So the wheel, doesn't matter how much you pull on it, it won't come off. But if you spin this axle, there it is, see? The axle just spin. Now it's going to come out. See? There you go. And here's the trick. A box like this will just hold it enough so I could take those bolts out and see how the gearing looks like. And this is how it looks like after about 1,000 miles. The teeth on the gearing, they still look good. A little bit worn, but they still look good. The grease, it's basically spread out on the outside. The motor itself looks good. This is the motor that I fixed a while back, and some people asked, will the zip ties hold the controller board down, or will the zip ties overheat? And no, they didn't overheat. See those zip ties over there? They hold the controller board down. And the copper wires are not too dark, and it's good because that means that it's not overheating. I clean this gear as much as I can. Also, I cleaned this little extra ring of grease that was on this side. I'm not sure why, because there's no grease on this side. This is the gearing inside. So this has been cleaned also. And then we're going to re-grease them and put the motor back in. What exactly that white powdery dust on this side, I can't really tell. I tried to blow it off with a compressor, I can't. Almost looks like dried grease. So the motor still runs good, so I'm not gonna complain too much about it. Now with the motor in, there's like 6 bolts that hold it into place. These were loose, all of them. They were like not hand tight anymore. So I'm not sure why they got loose, but I'm gonna put some Loctite on them and put them back on. You might want to check yours. And now the important part. This seal should be replaced, but mine is in the mail. So I'm going to put this one back in. This one keeps the water away. Luckily there is no water in Vegas, but if you live anywhere where there is water, replace that seal or you'll be sorry. Let's see what's going to happen. That works. Gotta zip tie everything together. Don't forget to put zip ties back on. Keeps things organized, and you're good to go. Now, why am I not super sad about this connector over here? There is 3 phases going through here, and 6 more wires. Those are the hub Hall sensors, and I'm trying to convert this bicycle from a sensored motor to a sensorless. The reason is that here's the axle, and the wires go through the axle, so there's like 6 wires for communication for the Hall sensors. And then you have 3 wires for the phases. These wires, this hole is too small for so many wires going through. So they had to skimp on things, and they put thinner wires to be able to put everything together. The problem is that these wires overheat. So they either burn inside the motor, which had happened to me before I had to fix it, or they burn, they melt over here, or they create all kinds of problems around here. So if I go sensorless, then I don't have to have the stupid communication wires over here. So I can only have 3 phases. If I only have 3 phases, then I could use much thicker wire, and therefore I could feed the motor much more power, and therefore I have less stuff that can go wrong. I really upgraded the controller on this bike to a sensorless controller, so this is a much stronger controller, and that way I'll have better speed, like 35 miles an hour, and I'll have more power, and it will be more efficient. And because there's a lot of wasted energy over here. If you climb a hill and you grab these wires, I can guarantee you they're hot. Put it on pedal assist 3 and climb a big hill and go on top of the hill and see how hot it gets. Now get into a very, very big hill, and then the insulation on them will melt, and then bye-bye motor. You have to replace the harness, which it happened to me. I had to replace this. And now there's so much power going through, this little connector just cannot cope with it. So that's why people's connectors get stuck, is because it just melts and then you're done. The plastic just gets so hot, the 2 parts of the plastic just melt together, and bye-bye. Well, I hope this helped you out. Thanks for watching.